You watch the fast sales, the valuable antiques, and the famous "I'm Rick Harrison, and this is my pawn shop" when you first saw Rick Harrison on Pawn Stars. However, his son Jake has now revealed information that is so concerning that it is endangering Rick's own safety. Not only is what comes next surprising, but it's also a race against time, so you'll want to read every word and pay close attention to this talk. Jake first realized his father wasn't returning calls as frequently. As usual, 2 weeks ago, always the hard worker, Rick typically worked at the store from sunrise until the cameras departed. However, Jake discovered that his emails were unread and his voicemail was full. Rick sounded shocked when Jake eventually located his father. He asserted that it was only a small dispute with a supplier and nothing more. However, Jake had a gut feeling that something more significant was about to happen. Jake investigated more and discovered that Rick's longtime supplier, a mysterious trader of rare World War II items, had disappeared. Even more concerning were the unpaid invoices and shipments, the broken-in dealer's warehouse, and the discovery of only Rick's business card. Rick acknowledged that he had discovered proof linking the dealer to a stolen art trafficking network that linked Europe and the Middle East. When Jake questioned his father, Rick's inquiries have raised the possibility of revealing a multi-million-dollar network. The threat increased from that point on. At his workplace, Jake got an anonymous box with a single, time-stamped picture showing Rick packing crates into a vehicle the previous evening. There was no threat, no note, only the tacit suggestion that someone was seeing them at all times. Rick's security team, which is typically restricted to camera monitors and alarm systems, felt suddenly inadequate. According to sources, Rick even thought of employing law enforcement officers who are not on duty to provide 24-hour security. However, it wasn't just Rick and Jake's concerns that led them astray. Regular customers of the store reported seeing strange individuals hanging around outside the pawn shop. They were nicely dressed, moving in pairs, and their eyes were always looking around. As cameras panned in their direction, they vanished into the afternoon traffic. Jake's brother Corey examined CCTV footage and found that these males were present on several occasions, always parked across the street. Their identity was unknown, but it was obvious what they intended to do: intimidate. The last warning then came. After closing the store late one evening, Rick discovered that the lock on his front door had been tampered with. The handle's red paint had been scraped off, a warning sign of forced entry, but nothing had been stolen. Rick raised the number of security cameras on the property and filed a police report because he felt it was time to notify the authorities. Nevertheless, Rick sensed the danger spreading despite those precautions. Jake, his son, made the decision to go public. Jake stared into the camera during an exclusive sit-down interview, saying, "My dad's life has always been about trust in people, in deals, in the community. But now he's at jeopardy because of that trust. To find out who is responsible and why, we need the public's assistance." He requested the public for any leads, posted blurry photos of the culprits, and detailed their cars, a black sedan with tinted windows. Followers pledged to share and spread the information on social media. Law enforcement acknowledged that the stolen art network is currently under investigation. They believe that this former supplier unintentionally utilized Rick's store as a front to wash priceless antiques. Investigators commend Jake for having the guts to speak up, but they advise the family to exercise caution. One investigator remarked, "These are experienced criminals, and they know how to disappear. Now what?" All of the evidence from the pawn shop is being examined by a task force consisting of federal officers and local police. A call for witnesses has been made, and there is a reward for information that results in an arrest. Until the threat is eliminated, Rick and his family are living under heightened protection and have temporarily moved their assets to a safe off-site vault. Visit pawnstarsshelp.gov or call the tip line at 800-SAFE-ART if you have any information, no matter how minor, about the missing dealer or the guys shown outside the store. You might save a life with your anonymous tip. Join us in making sure Rick Harrison can go back to his shop without fear by subscribing for updates on this ongoing inquiry.